everybody. Welcome to the Mardi Gras.
Bonjour.
Bonjour.
Bonjour. I'll get it out of my mouth in a minute. Today we're having a party because Dr. Ann has never experienced Mardi Gras.
No.
And
That's right. No, I haven't. Even as you can hear, I'm from the States originally, obviously.
Actually had somebody ask her, "What's Mardi Gras?"
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
We've got to enlighten some people.
Why don't you explain, Sherry? Because I bet there's a lot of people who don't know. It's religious.
I
right?
plan on it.
Huh?
Hello, and Jean is here, and welcome, Jean, and thank y'all for coming. And let's see, we have Scorpio Mama in the chat, Gemstone Rapidy, Althea Armstrong. Hey, Wayne. We have Mandy. So I'm sure there'll be more people, but let me take a sip and try to get the gravel to go away.
What's in that glass?
Mine's
Just
water.
plain old Coca-Cola. It's the real thing. What can I say? Okay, and it says to start with, what does Mardi Gras mean? In French, Mardi means Tuesday, and Gras means fat. That's why the day is referred to as Fat Tuesday. The word originated in France and was what people used to describe the day before Ash Wednesday, when they would binge on rich foods such as meat, eggs, milk, and cheese before Lent began. Now, Mardi Gras is said to have made its way to North America in 1699, thanks to the French-Canadian explorer Pierre Lamion d'Iberville. Okay, we've got an Iberville here, so that makes sense. He settled down near present-day New Orleans and brought the tradition with him. But festivities have been in common practice here in Louisiana, especially New Orleans, since the 1730s. So it's been around a long time. It was a holiday that came from pagan Roman roots, and it became known as Shrove Tuesday or Pancake Day, where it became Carnival Tuesday in Caribbean nations. Mardi Gras is always the Tuesday before Lent. The actual season begins in January with Three Kings Day, which falls on January 6th. Well, that's a date we all know. It's not only the end of the 12 days of Christmas, but it also marks the beginning of Carnival. We celebrate Mardi Gras. It goes back to pagan spring festivals from thousands of years ago. It was kind of blended in once Christianity came to Rome, and the religious leaders, as they are wont to do, blended all the pagan traditions in with Christian traditions so that everybody could still party and not go to hell, right? And so, because it's the day before Lent, it's a day where everybody eats, drinks, and gets merry. And now it's big parades. They have huge balls where courts. We have the King's Court, the Queen's Court, this crew, that crew. It's so many, I can't even begin to name them all. But mainly we do all of this to kind of bring in the Easter holidays because it's the beginning of Lent. And everybody's fasting at that point for 40 days until Good Friday comes along. And so it's the only time in Louisiana that we don't have a festival on a weekend is during Lent. Other than Lent, any time of the year you come to the state, you can find a festival somewhere celebrating something, from frogs to crawfish to music to whatever.
Yeah.
You think of something and Cajun
People
people
say,
will
yeah.
find a reason to have a party.
Yeah.
That's where I get it from. I grew up with it. It's stubbed your toe, let's have a party. Just
So do you have to work? Do you have to work on Tuesday, or do they give everybody off?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Do you have to work, or do they give everybody off?
It's basically a state holiday in Louisiana.
Oh,
we get
really?
a paid day off from work.
Oh,
Now
wow.
Monday
Awesome.
we have to use up our PTO, but Tuesday is a paid holiday. It's a state holiday.
That's awesome.
Everything shuts down. The only thing you can find open on Fat Tuesday is a bar, a restaurant, or a 7-Eleven where you can get gas. And that's about it. Everybody else is closed.
Is Lent only Catholic, or is it all Christians do Lent?
I think it's just Catholic only.
What's the percentage of Catholics in Louisiana
Oh,
of the population?
Practicing or
I was going to say, it depends on.
let's ask the great
Zero
Google
or-
machine. What is the
That's a good question.
percentage
Actually.
of Catholics in
Yeah.
in Louisiana?
Mhm.
Let's see.
I'm-
Louisiana, they actually, according to Google, what did I just click on? I just lost my page. No, go back.
Oh, I see it from 2020. So it's an old statistic. It says 22%. And then 53% is Protestant and other Christians 1.5%.
It used to be the reverse, but the evangelicals have kind of taken over. And they are now in the majority. But it's still just about everything in the state is affiliated or wrapped around Catholicism. We still have parishes, not counties, because that's how the state was divvied up, was by church parish. And we still celebrate all of the church holidays. Most of them are state holidays here. We have things like Mardi Gras.
It's fascinating.
It is.
It's a very rich. I mean, I grew up around it, so to me, it's like, okay,
That's the way
whatever.
it is.
Yeah, but to have
and then
20
I forget that other people don't have a clue what it is we do. I know, but it's gained popularity. There's more and more southern states, especially up and down the coast, that celebrate Mardi Gras on
Oh,
Tuesday.
yeah.
And
Well-
they'll have one or two little parades. Yeah, they make money at it.
Yeah, and tourism.
I call Sherry.
I
my
mean,
foreign-
we have,
foreign
like-
correspondent. Because Louisiana.
Yeah, I'm a foreign correspondent. I go when I go on Helen's channel. I call it the strange lands of swamps, But
That's really interesting that only 22% are practicing Catholics.
that surprises me because I would have thought it was much higher than that, because it's just like everybody
But
I mean, I know far more Catholics than I do evangelicals.
weren't the Spanish the first to conquer in that area?
Yeah.
I
New
think that's-
Orleans was actually a pirate haven.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
where
that-
That explains it.
Yeah.
pirates would bring in their stolen goods to the port of New Orleans, where it would then get dissipated out and sent out into wherever it would go to. You have sugarcane is grown here. The land is very rich for sugarcane.
Oh,
It's
that's
still-
rare nowadays, right? That's
It's
very
still a
rare.
very
That's awesome.
dominant
Wow. I didn't know that. That's cool.
thing that they farm here is sugarcane.
That's
You don't ever want to get
Amazing.
stuck behind a sugarcane truck. You're there forever because they go so slow, because they stack up
It's
so
heavy.
high
Heavy.
on the back
Yeah.
of the
Yeah.
truck and strapped
Wow.
down. I
That's
mean, my mother
incredible.
grew up, they would run out to the sugarcane fields and break off the stalks so they could chew and suck on them with sugar
Yeah.
that's in it. It's kind of like it's not as sweet as what most people think, but it's almost a syrupy type
Like a sap.
sap that grows inside the stalk. and it's just, I mean, but there are, like I said, part of Mardi Gras is you have the royal courts, which come from France. So you have the king's court, the queen's court, this court, that court. And I mean, these people are serious about their courts. Tomorrow, Wednesday, there will be every fabric store in Louisiana will be inundated with people coming in to buy stuff for next year's Mardi Gras.
Oh my gosh.
They start making
Really?
the costumes.
There's a really good documentary.
Wow.
I don't know if it's HBO or Showtime because I saw it at my daughter's house. I don't have either of those. And it's a documentary about a crew.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
I don't know.
cool.
You know the one I'm
Spelled
talking about?
Krewe.
Right.
That's how they spell the crew.
Yeah.
And so we'll have the crew of Ponce de Leon and the crew of Crawfish and the crew of this radio station or the children's crew, or it's all of these different organizations throughout the state, and they will have their own courts, their own crews. They do up their own parade floats, kind of like the Rose Parade, where you have
Exactly.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
it's the same thing. They
Except
do
it's a
up their
lot
own,
older. Some of those groups.
and they do their own floats. They have big balls and parties. When
Yeah,
you
that's cool.
Start going into Mardi Gras, where you have them show up full kingly attire.
Regalia.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They
the
wear
whole-
really
That's the word I was
strange
looking for.
outfits. Yeah.
I mean, the crowns, the
Yeah.
scepters, the whole shebang.
I
And they
think that
make all of it. You have jewelers at the jewel stores that make the crowns and the scepters and stuff.
Oh, really?
For a lot of them, especially the really big courts that have money, they're using real stuff. It's not fake.
It's kind of ancestral, isn't it? I mean, you have
It
to.
is.
You kind of inherit yourself in.
It is.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the only way you get in with a lot of them is you're either dirty, filthy rich and can buy your way in, or someone in your family is
Yeah.
on a crew or in a
Yeah.
court. And think the debutante balls up in New York, kind of thing. It's a certain class of people that are kind of in that. Now they have more common man crews and courts nowadays so that anybody can join up and do their thing. The big thing is they have their parades. Different parades have different themes. There'll be the Queen's Parade, the King's Parade, the Children's Parade, the whatever. And they throw beads and they throw big gold plastic doubloons. And
they do what? What was that?
Doubloons, a coin.
it's like a coin, like the
Oh.
old Spanish gold coins they call doubloons. Well, they throw those, but they're plastic. They're not real coins. And just like the beads are plastic, they're not anything of any. You pay more money just to get like a fancy one with all the different fancy beads on.
That is nice.
I've had
Yeah.
this one
Yeah.
for probably about 15 years. I
Wow.
wear it. I wear
Cool.
it at Mardi Gras, and then it goes back in the box. And because they're expensive to buy, so you take care of them. They have companies here that all they do is collect everybody's old beads. Starting the day after Mardi Gras, you can haul all the beads you caught to these companies, and they will buy the beads back. And then they have like for the Division of the Blind and different organizations like that, who will come in and clean all the beads, and repaint them if they need repainting, string them up for new strings. You have new beads the next year. And it's not.
That's
they
really
just-
cool. That's great.
And,
Yeah.
So there's the Division of the Blind here. I know has like a department or whatever that's what they send people to go, and that's what they do. They restring the beads. They collect them, they clean them up, they repaint them if they need repainting, and then they restring them.
How
and
many
they sell them
people
for the next year. And
have
Incredible.
Anne or Helen? Have either of you been to New Orleans?
No, I haven't. It's a great regret, but I'm keen. I was talking to my husband about it. And I'm like, you want to go? We go back. He's like, yeah, I'm keen, because he loves music. So, I mean, obviously the music would be a
Yeah.
whole other genre and
Yeah.
phenomenon
you have
in
Cajun
itself.
music
But have you
inside of
been
it.
to it? Or-
I have
Oh,
a
cool.
couple of times, and it is an experience, and you're never the same
Especially in New
again.
Orleans.
The education of debauchery that I've received was just un, unlike anything I would ever imagine. It was
Okay.
it was mind blowing. But yeah, all the
Yeah.
stories that you hear, they're true plus. And I was there for the Sugar Bowl for New Year's Eve, and the Sugar Bowl was on New Year's Day. And that was really interesting because it was so hot down there. It was very humid, and you didn't have to wear a coat on New Year's Eve. I've never experienced that before, but it was like summertime
Wow.
down there.
Where
Yeah,
are you, or where are you from?
and
Uh,
next
I,
year it might be 20 degrees.
oh, okay,
A week
okay,
ago it was in the 30s, and everybody was like layered up and freezing their butts off.
yeah,
Today I'm in a t-shirt.
Yeah, you
It's
just don't
yeah.
know.
warm
Yeah.
outside. You just
I'm
never know.
I'm originally from Philadelphia area, and I currently live right near Washington D.C. in the state of Maryland. And
Oh,
um,
cool.
so, but it sounds a lot like what we call our Mother's Day parade in
Yes.
Philadelphia.
Yes.
It's very strict like that. They're very serious. They only have the best costumes. It's highly
Wow.
the competition is for real. It's hereditary. They have kids out there, and it's like a tradition, and it's
Yeah.
They
so
have
That's so cool.
they have viewing
Love it.
stands, parade stands, where whoever it is that's part of the ones that make these decisions, the parades go by the viewing stands so that they get voted on which one had the best float, or which
Wow.
parade
Yeah.
offered the best stuff. And they give away
Incredible.
prizes and whatnot. I don't know what all they do. But yeah, it's a whole, it's like Christmas time, but in a different kind of venue. And it's all based around eat, drink, and be merry, Now, the original Mardi Gras out in the country, in the countrysides, was called having a boucherie. And that's where
Oh,
a group of men would all get on their horse and they would go from farm to farm to farm. And they would collect pigs, chickens, uh, whatever, uh, vegetables, and whatnot. And it would be a game. They'd like have to chase the chickens and catch them, and chase the pig and catch it. And, it was a big game. And then they all meet like town square or wherever they're going to meet at, the local center location. And they cook the pig and they cook all the chickens, and you have the women that are there to do the vegetables and the desserts and all that other stuff. And it's like everybody gets rid of all of the older stuff in the pantry that won't survive the winter without spoiling. And they bring it all, and it all gets cooked. Everybody eats till they can't eat anymore. And then the next day starts Lent and everybody's fasting.
wow.
So
that's amazing.
I hope that there are people who object to. No, wait till I finish the sentence. I hope there are people who object to diversity watching, because one of the beautiful things about this country is the remarkable diversity of cultures. I grew up in Southern California. I grew up in Santa Barbara. We had Old Spanish days. And, of course,
Yeah.
we won't discuss the indigenous people for the moment. But Old Spanish days, they had fiestas. That sounds like what you're describing. They had a gigantic parade every year. They also had a parade for the children. They had a blessing of the animals at the mission. They had, they had a mercado, an open air market. I can't even remember everything that they had. They have
I think they also do like a blessing of the shrimp boats right around this time during Mardi Gras.
That's neat.
yeah.
The priest will come out and they will do their blessings on, the city, the town, whatever it is that they're working on. Now, originally, it was mainly just the Cajun people because that's the only ones that were here that did this. But
Yeah.
and you do meet some people who have a hard time integrating, shall we say. But it's like the Apollo Ball and the Apollo floats. The Apollo Parade are really popular. That's the LGBTQ.
I think that's what that
sponsor.
documentary was.
Yeah, and
Oh, okay.
that's you have people. Doesn't matter if they're gay or not. They don't care. They go to the Apollo Ball. They
Very
throw,
cool. Yeah.
from what I understand, the best ball of the year. I mean, they
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
they go all
That sounds
out.
amazing.
My mom used to
That's so
work
cool.
with a young man who was part of the board of directors for the Apollo stuff, and so every
Yeah.
year he would give her a couple of tickets,
Oh.
and
Oh,
she'd get one of
fantastic.
her friends to go with her, and they would dress up and they
Oh,
would
how
go to the
fun.
Apollo Ball, and she
Yeah.
loved it.
That'd be
Um,
amazing.
Any excuse to party, right? I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Sounds like Louisiana's a place to be.
I'm
I'm
what's
coming.
my nickname? Jerry's the party girl. Just call her. She'll help you.
Next
That's
party's at
true.
Jerry's house, everyone.
Exactly. I mean,
Awesome.
and that's
I
what
was
I
going to
grew up
say that
with.
when Jean was talking about being shocked by the debauchery, during Mardi
Yeah.
Gras. Hey, I grew up in the late 60s and the early 70s. I was a teenager in my 20s around that time. You want to talk debauchery? That was a wild and crazy time.
Oh yeah.
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 Yep.
Times have changed. Let's just put it
But
that
now
way.
it's like we have
Yeah.
crews that are LGBTQ. We have crews that are Native Indigenous people. We have crews that
Mhm.
are the Black African American people. Um, some of the more common crews like mix and match everybody together. They don't care. But you still have like your set courts that are separate. And that's the way they prefer it. It's like if that's how you want to run your court, it's your court. You do it your way.
But they all come together to have a festival. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, it's really
And so-
interesting to see the differences, and of course, I'm sure there's music involved, and it's all
Oh,
different. Yeah,
tons of music, live bands
Yeah.
all over the place.
handmade
That
coffee.
sounds
You
amazing.
walk
I
up
would
and down
love
the
that.
street.
That's awesome.
There's food vendors everywhere. People making fresh cracklings, which is
Oh,
the
wow.
hog intestine.
Oh
The-
God.
Like it's like the wrap of it, okay? And they take that off and they cut it up pieces and they fry it, and it's like a hard, crunchy, salty snack.
Is that
And
chitlins?
they're not the same thing, but
They're
it's
not?
kind of in the same
They
vein.
do that here. You can get it's crackling is just the skin of the pig, the hog, or whatever, and then they salt
They
it
have
and dry it
boudin, they
out,
have-
and then it bubbles up and people eat it. Yeah.
Yeah,
really
they have
common.
boudin vendors, they have crackling vendors, crawfish vendors.
Oh
You
my
can
gosh, that'd be so
go,
good.
gumbo
Yummy.
vendors, and
We're gonna make an immigrant out of you yet.
you can eat just about any kind of food you want to eat. And what's really cool is
Oh my goodness.
you have all of this, which is so very French and Catholic based. And in about 2 months, we'll be celebrating the Holi Festival, which is Indian from India.
Oh,
The Festival of
Oh.
Colors.
Diwali? Is that
no.
The
Festival of Lights?
the Holi.
Isn't that the
Holi
one with the
Festival.
colors?
Yeah, Diwali, yeah.
powder?
That's
Yeah,
the one
the
with the
lights,
colors.
yeah,
They throw the colors up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a large Indian presence here, especially in our area,
Didn't know that.
because of the students and the faculty.
Yeah.
One of my faculty is on the board who, they do all of this. I think we're going into our 9th or 10th year in a row now that
Wow.
we've had the Holi Festival. They do it at one of the local parks, and you meet people, all walks, all colors,
Fun.
all
Oh, yeah.
religions. Everybody's out there having fun. They have belly dancers
Yeah.
up on the stage. They have Indian musicians that are playing the kind of music that you would hear in India,
Yeah, sitars and the
the whole bit. And
Special
it's a
drums, yeah.
blast. I absolutely love it. It is so much fun. But it's like you're going from Halloween, okay, then you got Thanksgiving and Christmas, then here comes Mardi Gras, then you got the Holy Festival, and then
Nonstop holidays.
it's nonstop holidays. It's like, except for Lent, when nothing happens during Lent. It's no
I bet
party.
the cardiologists love it, you know.
Oh, I'm sure. We have multiple cardiologists in this area.
I bet you do. Yeah,
And
you guys
yeah.
have the
You can literally see people's arteries hardening as they eat. I mean, you know.
you have the
I can
Oshner, right?
imagine.
The Oshner Clinic. The
Yeah,
Oshner
we have
Clinic's
an
in-
Oshner clinic here now.
Yeah.
And it's just just the entire culture. It's all wrapped around the Cajun French culture, you know, which they were chased out of France because of their religious beliefs. They were like extremely devout Catholics, and they wound up in Nova Scotia, where they got chased out of Nova Scotia for their extreme religious beliefs. And they just followed the Mississippi down to the bottom, and there we are. So they settled this land, and you have the Cajun people. And then you get over in the New Orleans area and all that, you get more the Creole people, which is more of a mix of
Islands.
African American and Native American mix. Is you never call a Cajun a Creole or a Creole a Cajun. You know. They're very.
Don't want to go there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't go there. But they all play together when they're doing music, whether if it's Cajun music or Zydeco music. They're using the same kind of instruments, which the accordion is like the main instrument they use to play, and it's just an experience. I mean, you know, like I said, when Ann said, "Oh, I've never been to Mardi Gras," I was like, "We got to have a party."
So what do you do in your hometown, Sherry? You're not very close to the New Orleans area. You're like
we're about 2.5 hours west.
Right. So do you have like a local thing that they do parades?
Lafayette is said to have the best Mardi Gras.
Okay.
Even better than New Orleans, because New Orleans is crazy. They like have gone beyond.
Too many people, and you
got a much larger mix of people, and of course you get big celebrities, you know, that will come down and
really over
the marshal for the day or the grand parade, whatever, you know, I don't know.
Every drunk frat boy in the South.
But we're starting to get that here in Lafayette with celebrities and whatnot. We are fast becoming the new Atlanta for Hollywood to come and film.
Oh, nice.
It's a lot cheaper.
Oh, cool.
Here, and there's a wide variety of people of every mix and flavor you want that you can get as, you know, standby in the background. And
so Sherry, what I remember when I think of Mardi Gras, I remember them walking with umbrellas and like fake hearses in the back. What is that? What does that have to do with the funeral?
That symbolizes part of the funeral processions.
Right.
Because when someone dies, it's not considered sad. It's turned into a party because now they've transitioned to the next level. And so
that's awesome.
They dance and parade the spirit into where it's going, and they bring it to the graveyard. Of course, the closer you get to the coast, the more more graveyards you see with the mausoleums above ground.
Yeah.
Because if you put a coffin in the ground, first hard rain,
fill up with water.
It pops up. You know, your body's floating down the street.
Not a good look.
So is that only with funerals? That does not have anything to do with Mardi Gras, or do they do a little bit of it?
They've incorporated some of it with different types of jazz musicians, and if it's popular, they figure out a way to incorporate it and mix.
So if somebody if you have a funeral, there'll be a parade that'll come and parade for you. Is that
If you pay
correct?
for it, yeah. If
You
you
have to
got it
pay
set
for it,
up.
right? You have to
Oh yeah,
hire.
you have to pay.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
What's that
I'm
called?
sure there was a time when it was just what they did,
Community.
but
Mm.
you know, it's far too many people here now. So you can arrange to have a full Cajun Mardi Gras type funeral procession where they walk your coffin down the street, you know, and drawn by horse, and you've
Wow.
got the jazz musicians that are playing and the people, you know, with the umbrellas and stuff. It's just all part of the
Yeah,
carnival.
but you don't even get to enjoy it.
Exactly.
Well,
It's
you
like,
might be flying around watching, you know.
Well, you could do it for your birthday.
it's only fun if you're one of the survivors that get to go to the
Yeah.
parade. You know? If you're the dead one, you know.
So
it
you
doesn't
wouldn't
matter.
see that in a Mardi Gras parade. I'm just getting the two confused.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that
you could. You could.
okay?
Yeah.
They
Oh,
do
yeah.
sometimes.
You
Okay.
mix in. If there's something that can be turned into festival, party, carnival,
They'll
it'll
use
be
it.
there.
Yeah.
The Cajun people have no qualms with stealing other cultures and what they do and blending them in. You know, it's like I said, if there's a reason
That's
to have
awesome.
a party, we are first in line. We will throw you a party. And it's
Yeah.
just part of part of the culture down
So
here.
you're very, very humble there in the South in general, but in Louisiana especially, and it's a tourist attraction as well.
Oh yeah. A lot of money comes through during the Mardi Gras and all the festivals. I mean, one of our big festivals that we have here in Lafayette is the Festival International. And it's music groups from around the world. It's like a week-long
Oh,
festival.
That would be amazing.
And they
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
it's like all day, all night, different bands, different kinds of music, everything just playing.
And that's in
And
your town in
yeah,
Lafayette?
yeah,
Oh,
that's the Lafayette. And they might do it some of the other places, but most of the big festivals are set in one area. You know, you have the Frog Festival. That's usually over in Crowley area. Why I don't know, but there you go. You have, you know, the Crawfish Festival. That's going to be more predominant in
Well,
areas that have
let's
the crawfish
explain.
ponds.
Let's just explain what a crawfish is to Dr. Ann. I'm sure she's quite interested. If not, maybe somebody in the chat
A
might be interested.
crawfish is what is commonly referred to as a mud bug in most other places.
I didn't
They're
know that.
like a shrimp. They're very similar to shrimp,
Yeah.
but they live in the mud in the ponds. And we have crawfish ponds that, like rice paddies, they're just big, huge plots of land that's nothing but ponds and mud. And you go through and scoop them out and clean them up. And
It sounds delicious. Oh,
and
yeah.
then throw them in a
Amazing.
pot and boil them good and proper. And then you pull it apart. You suck the head, get all the juice and brains and stuff out of the head, which grosses me out. And then you eat the regular body of just like you would a shrimp. And it's the delicacy here. It's like I'm not sucking no heads. I'm sorry, that's gross.
Yeah.
Just watching somebody else do it makes me nauseous. But
it makes the sauce really sweet. It makes the sauce.
I'm sure it would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use
They have
crawfish,
something similar like that in Australia. Yeah, it's called
gumbo.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's called pumping for yabbies. They're called yabbies in Australia, and they have a special pump that they pump them out of the beach fronts in Australia. But here in New Zealand, really, you only get the lobster equivalent without the big claws, and it's called crayfish.
Crayfish.
Not crawdads, but yeah. Crawdads were. I know they had some in some streams in Northern California. That's where I was raised.
Yeah.
Crawdads are really everywhere, but they're like really predominant here because of the soil and the water.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Because we're at sea level. So
or
there's
below.
a lot of water and
below, that's right.
Or below.
Carrie, you
and
skipped
it's
the
very
most
rich,
important part.
very rich soil down here.
You skipped the most
wonderful.
important part. the part that I find to be the most compelling part, and you'll love this. They boil everything in a pot. You know, the little shrimp guys, and also lobster, yes, and potatoes and
Yeah,
everything
they
in a
throw
pot. And
corn on the
then
cob
they
in the
just
pot.
dump
Yum.
it on the table.
They'll
The
throw
whole thing
corn on the
gets
cob. They'll
dumped
throw
on newspaper on the table.
potatoes.
Do
all
they
this
save the
stuff.
broth? Oh my
They
gosh, I
boil
would
it
save
all
everything.
No.
It all gets dumped on the table.
Oh,
And everyone stands
yummy.
around and eats with their hands.
Oh, fantastic. I'm there. I'm there
That's
next.
a
Yep.
crawfish restaurant. There's a big hole in the middle of the table because that's where the trash barrel is underneath.
Really?
Oh,
And they
okay,
dump everything on
cool.
the table, and you eat with your hands. You just eat off the table.
That's
you got your corn,
brilliant.
your
That's a
potatoes,
great idea.
your crawfish, and you just shove it to the
Oh
center
my
of the table.
God.
It goes down the hole. And
Awesome.
Steve
the way
Watts
they
is
do
in
it.
Queensland, or he's saying it's a
Hey.
sunny morning in
It's Mickey.
Queensland.
Yeah.
Steve Watts.
Yep. It's Mickey is the name, and that was her ex's account, I believe. Forgive me, Mickey, if I got it right. But I've met
Yep.
Mickey on Chrissy Footprint
Oh, okay.
Tarot. Yeah, which is really cool.
And we got lots of
They're a
people
few
in
hours
chat.
behind New Zealand. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I've ignored y'all because I've been talking my head off. And
Oh, and I love this.
Hello
This
to
is absolutely
everybody.
fantastic. Thank you.
I'm not even going to go back and try to catch up.
Oh,
with
yeah,
Just
yeah.
hello to everybody.
Hey, everybody.
You've been giving us such a wonderful education, and you're painting a beautiful picture, and you can feel the hospitality in your energy as you're describing it, and the memories are just flooding through your
Yes.
energy, and it's coming out when you're explaining this to us. It's really beautiful.
And thank you. And
It is.
it's always been a fun time of year for me. I guess that's where I get my party spirit from, is because
Yeah.
Yeah.
like I said, you stub your toe. Oh, let's have a party. You'll feel better. I mean,
Awesome.
any reason to have a party, the Cajun people will find it. And they're hardworking people. They bust their butt. Some of the hardest working people I've ever met are Cajun people. Whether if they're in the swamp, swamping and fishing and whatnot, or if they've got the farms, or if they've got sugarcane fields, or if they're growing rice. I mean, rice is probably the second, maybe it might be the first, but I think it's like the second most predominant crop in Louisiana because of the fact that we're at sea level or
Yeah, the
below.
water. Yeah.
There's water everywhere, and so it's a lot easier to grow rice.
Tell them it's a little bit off subject, Sherry, but I can never forget one time on Facebook you put a post on Facebook, and you showed us an alligator walking down you work at a university, and it's very well groomed, very well
It's
manicured
beautiful
lawn
campus.
and stuff, and you see this huge alligator like walking down the middle of the
Every now and again, they
campus.
break out of the swamp. We have our own swamp on campus. It's a man-made swamp called Cypress Lake.
That's
And we
amazing.
have our own alligators. They have fences and stuff up around it. But every now and again, you get an alligator that just gets a wild hair up its butt, decides
Has to
I'm gonna take
go.
a walk, and he crawls up because they can climb trees. A lot of people
What?
don't realize this. Alligators can climb trees.
Oh
Oh
my
I did not.
gosh.
Okay,
They
now
can
you're just
climb
giving me
trees.
some nightmares. Thank you.
Oh,
And every now and
right
again, you
there.
get one that just, like I said, gets a wild hair and decides time for a walk. And they'll scale the fence and go over. And next thing you know, you hear kids screaming, "Alligators out!" And they'll be trucking down the sidewalk. And
Oh,
trees,
good
trees.
God.
They rarely bother anybody.
They've got claws. I mean, they're almost like talons. They're
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
If they're gonna
rarely bother
wow.
anybody. You want zero. You don't
Yeah,
want.
I know.
I actually got in a tug of war with one back when I went to school there, before they had the high fences up like they do now. And I was sitting on a bench by the swamp. I was studying for a test coming up, and I had my purse next to me, and
Oh no.
the strap was hanging off and like blowing in the wind. I didn't even realize it. And all of a sudden, I see my purse go like zoop down the side of the bench. And I looked over, the damn alligator had the strap in its mouth. It was trying to take off with my purse, and I grabbed my purse and pulled back, and
Oh my
tug
god.
of war, the strap broke. He got the strap, I got the purse. We were both happy.
Oh my
And
god.
we went back in the
Oh my
water.
God.
So did you have to tell the teacher, I'm sorry, but the alligator ate my homework?
No, I didn't tell anybody about it because I was afraid I'd get in trouble. I don't know why my thinking was that. But I was more worried about telling my husband because it was a brand new purse he had bought me for a gift.
Oh,
And I had to come home with the strap off.
oh wow.
Oh,
And the
no.
alligator ate it, you know. It's like, look, who
It looked
uses
like it was
that?
in your leg or something. You know.
Exactly. Exactly. You're
I
lucky
don't
that's
know
all
of
it
them
was.
ever attacking any of the students. I mean, if it's ever happened, they've kept it quiet. But yeah, they do get out
Incredible.
every now and again and take a little stroll, you know. We have the big giant snapping turtles that live in the swamp, and you don't
Those
want
are
one of them
sure.
to get
But
hold of
They can
you.
she's
take
no
out
joke.
fingers.
Yeah, she's no joke when she calls herself the swamp lady. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah, you're
very
right.
Well, and I live roughly 3.5, 4 miles from the largest land-based swamp in the continental U.S., and that's the Atchafalaya.
What
It's
does
an
that mean,
8 mile.
land-based swamp? What does that mean? That it's
It's
surrounded by land?
yeah.
It's not
Okay.
right on
And
the
all the other
coast,
ones
you know,
are on the shore?
Usually they're like on the coastline,
on the
Right.
coastline.
and
And
almost like an estuary.
you guys have all those sort of water-based things like yellow fever and malaria.
Oh yeah, you have to be careful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it
you have
sounds
to be-
lovely. So inviting.
Come on down to Louisiana.
Come on down.
Well,
Fight with
New
an
Zealand,
alligator and get yellow fever while you're at it.
New Zealand has these big spiders, right? Don't you
Yeah,
all
I can
have those
imagine
big
that.
giants?
Not well. You get huntsman spiders, which are as big as your hand, but they're really benign. I mean,
No, that
the
would
only
freak
scary
me
ones
out.
are the imports. Yeah, the
Oh.
imports from Australia, like the
Oh.
white-tailed spider, that can
Okay.
cause necrosis, and you can, lose your
Maybe
hand
it's
or arm. Yeah.
maybe I'm getting that confused. Yeah, with
Yeah.
Australia. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
amazing. It's, I mean, if you're from New York City and, a rat would rival one of those gators,
Oh, I've heard about
Easily.
them.
Yeah.
Easily, from what I've heard. I've never been in New York, so I've never seen a New York rat except in pictures. But
Wow.
I strongly get the feeling that they would put up a good fight with an alligator.
And
Um,
California, you have coyotes out there? Is that
Yeah.
your biggest?
Coyotes and tarantulas,
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
rattlesnakes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mountain
black widow
lions.
spiders,
Mountain
and
lions. Yeah.
Scorpions.
brown recluses, and
yeah.
or,
When I first
or
moved to
you could
Phoenix,
get
the first thing I was
hantavirus
told
from
was
the mice.
if I left my shoes outside on the patio, to make sure to shake them out real good before I put my feet in them, because scorpions would go in them at night.
oh
Yeah,
my
or-
gosh.
Or black widows and all that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was excited when New Zealand doesn't have snakes. We don't have any snakes here, and only even allowed in the country for exhibits for zoos.
And we
Absolutely
get
no snakes in New
cockroaches that
Zealand.
are
So
ginormous
I was excited.
that fly.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
We have flying cockroaches, and they will bite during mating
Bite.
season. During mating
Ooh.
season, they will bite you if they land on you. And they're huge. They come out of the oak trees.
They call
That's what they
palmetto bugs.
Oh,
That's what they call them, like in Florida.
Oh,
Here, they're
okay.
just called cockroaches.
You guys just get right
Okay.
down to the truth of the
They're just a
matter.
roach. Go get some
that's
spray and
incredible.
spray it.
I couldn't go to
Yeah.
Australia. Every single thing in Australia is venomous.
Yeah,
it's
they
just
have a lot.
incredible. Yeah,
There's a lot there.
scary.
Yeah.
Gotta
Yeah,
get
but
to
yeah,
the
we got
wild.
we've got
And-
rattlesnakes here too. We've got more wild
Mm.
moccasins than anything
Ew.
else.
Yeah.
And those
Yeah.
you
What
have to
are
be
they?
careful of.
What
Wild
moccasins?
moccasins. Yeah.
They're
poisonous.
snakes that live in the
Yeah.
water,
Oh, okay.
and I mean they go outside the water too. But
Well, they swim
very-
across the top of the water and come right for you.
yeah, they're very poisonous too.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
And they like to swim in swarms, like dolphins and other fish in schools.
Ah,
Moccasins will swim in swarms, and I mean there
Oh.
have been people that have been out like uh, water skiing or something, and they, let go to go into the shore
Oh,
and
no.
go right down into the middle of a moccasin thing, and yeah,
You take
Die?
your
Like
life into your
skiing.
hands.
usually
I
they
know.
die. Yeah, it's some
Oh
people
my
survive it.
gosh.
They just,
Oh,
but
I'm so sorry for those souls that are going that way.
but it's like, yeah, that's what happens when you decide to water ski in the swamp. Yeah,
Yeah,
some
well,
people-
I mean, don't they have the airboats, or is that more Florida Everglades where you got the
no,
big
we have
fans? Do they
airboats
do
here
them?
too,
Yeah,
but
those are cool.
they're smaller than the ones in
Okay.
Florida.
All right.
They use what they call pirogues here, which is like
Yeah,
a very
canoe.
long canoe,
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
long
Okay.
and thin canoe, because it's easier to weave in and out along the
Okay.
shoreline. And of course, you have the old cypress and oak trees that go along the shoreline that
Okay.
has the moss that grows down out of it.
Oh, that would be
Don't
pretty
want
looking now.
to go walking through or cruising through on a boat through that moss because snakes live in it, as well as
God.
other bugs and stuff, and they will
So
kill you
Sherry's
up.
going to be our personal guide when we go to visit, and we're going to wrap
Yes.
ourselves in
Sherry
bubble
doesn't
wrap
go
with a lot of spray, bug spray, and we'll be fine.
I'm not leaving.
Gary
the
does not go in the swamp.
So walk us through what a day in for like you have the day off and you're sleeping in a little bit. Now, are you cooking the night before and you party that day, or do you still get ready and then party that night? Like to walk us through what the
Yeah.
preparation is for Mardi Gras, what you
They
do.
start cooking days ago.
Okay.
Oh, really?
They a lot of foods, a lot of stuff is they'll start cooking and preparing it, so that when Mardi Gras Day comes, it's all ready.
Do they do like the hot cross buns and
Not that I
They do
know
that
of.
here.
Yeah,
maybe it's English?
yeah.
It's an English thing. I mean,
Is
we
it?
have a lot of English
We have
stuff
a lot
here.
of baguettes, a lot of baguettes, a lot of po' boys, a lot of that kind of bread. Um,
What is the fried dough called? The beignets or something? What are they called? Beignets.
A
Yeah.
beignet.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
like it's like a sweet bread almost. It's kind of like almost like a donut, but it's rolled out and then you cut it in strips or squares and you throw it in the frying pan and you fry it up in some oil and then you put powdered sugar over it.
Mhm.
And
And is
gosh.
that something a lot of people make
Yum.
at home, or do they just go ahead and buy it? Like how?
some people buy them. It's hard to find places that make good beignets.
Oh,
Most of them are too greasy because they don't know what they're doing.
oh,
But I mean, you can buy the mix, the Cafe Du Monde mix at the grocery store, which that's the restaurant in New Orleans that made beignets famous was Cafe Du Monde. And so they have their own mix that they, goes out on the grocery store shelves. And you can make as many or as little as you want.
good.
And I know I'll get like the the little chocolate wafers you can get that you can melt down for dipping sauce.
Mm.
I can roll out and do beignets and cut them a little bigger, put a chocolate disc in it, and then fold it over and seal it and fry it.
Oh, wow.
So it melts.
It melts
Oh my
inside.
goodness.
It's like
Don't tell my
Yeah.
husband. That's right up his alley. For
Yeah.
sure.
This is
I love
torture.
beignets.
This is
Where
absolute
my
torture.
son works, the restaurant club he works at, they do beignets. Divine. And so
Smell
every
good.
weekend now I'm like, bring me some beignets. So
Oh, good.
it's like
Good.
three about this size that he brings,
But they
Yeah.
make them all the time. It's just that's like a New Orleans or a Louisiana thing. That's all the
Yeah.
time, not just
Yeah.
for
I
Mardi
mean,
Gras.
they originated, I believe, in New Orleans. At least that's the cafe that made them famous.
So
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, I keep having questions that are off the subject.
No, it's
Is
great.
this the new moon? It's the new moon, right? And because of Lent, it's because of the new moon, and it's also around Valentine's Day. Like all of these things, right in that same time. there was one other thing that I was thinking of that was related to this time and why so many different traditions
Uh-oh.
celebrate in different ways.
Yeah.
And here it kind of all gets blended together. You have what we call treaters,
Frozen
it's
cherry.
like a Cajun medicine man.
Okay.
A lost Helen.
Oh,
And
oh.
we call them treaters. And so you have that kind of swamp magic kind of stuff. You have voodoo.
That would be amazing.
You have just regular covens and whatnot with Wicca and pagan. You get a lot of Wicca and pagan. There you are. And you get a lot of Wiccan and pagan
Hello.
Did
you guys
cultures down
freeze
here.
or did I freeze?
I
You
think
dropped
it's
out
you.
completely.
It might be you, Helen.
Yeah.
I think it was you
Yeah.
because you dropped out completely.
Yes, because all of my equipment is possessed by demons, so I'm not surprised.
But I think that's really a good observation, Jean and Sherry, that the whole you got all these different practices, spiritual practicing people, whatever association they want to associate themselves with, but the whole pagan thing with the full moon and Easter, and there's that can't
You
be
have
coincidence.
people that swear by swamp
Yeah.
magic. They,
Yeah,
you have your swamp doctors, which are like medicine men, medicine women.
yeah.
And,
I remembered the other thing. It was,
Hi, Marina.
hey, Marina's here.
Marina,
I
hey.
remembered the other tradition was the Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year,
yeah.
new moon,
There you
and
go.
Oh, I have several faculty that are Asian. I had one brought me a
So-
Chinese New Year gift
is
the
it
other day.
just this year that it's all happening at the same time? Because doesn't Lent move around?
Lent
Yes.
is 40 days before Easter, and Easter's a lunar.
Yes.
a lunar thing. So
and
yeah,
I
I kind
don't
of
know how to calculate it. You need to know, I think, like trigonometry or something to figure it out. But,
yeah,
but you know.
it's always around the same time,
Yeah.
February, March.
Right. But I didn't
Um,
it's not around Valentine's Day. It just seems like Valentine's Day usually is right before, but it seems to be
Usually
all in this
Valentine's
week.
Day is not slap damn right next door to
Right,
Mardi
right,
Gras. They're usually a
right.
little more time apart.
Well, isn't Easter
Um,
the beginning of April this year, or is it the end of March?
March.
It's
Yeah,
earlier this
I
year,
think
yeah.
Easter is the end. End of March. Easter Sunday is March 31st.
Now, my birthday is in late April, and sometimes my birthday's on Easter.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's early April as well.
Yeah, it
so
just depends on
could be-
how it all falls. I mean,
Yeah.
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 and because of that, you never quite know what the weather's going to be like for Mardi Gras. We've had some Mardi Gras where it's 20, 30 degrees outside. You got kids trying to march and toss batons and whatnot in freezing cold weather. And then you have years like this year where right now it's in the 70s and it's muggy.
You're kidding.
And it's
Gosh, that's pretty much what it's like where I am at the moment.
Wow.
and tomorrow it could be in the 40s again. So, you know,
I'll
Yeah.
be right back.
you don't like the weather, wait 5 minutes, it'll change. I mean, just,
Yeah, that's what we say where I live. Wait, if you don't like the weather, wait 20 minutes because it's like the closest point on the North Island of New Zealand. So maybe it's a 45-minute drive to get to the east and west coast. So, I mean, everything from the Pacific passes over. It's like
Their
a big
own
balloon
little
for the country.
ecological zones, right?
right. And
Yeah,
with
yeah.
us, because of where, like New Orleans is a little different because New Orleans is in a bowl. It is surrounded by water that's above it. That's why the levees are so important. Keep the water out. Why it's built like that, I don't know. Blame the pirates.
Yeah, it was shipping. Yeah.
But yeah, it had to do with all of that.
Mhm.
But like with here, we get where kind of like where I'm located at Lafayette, we'll have like major thunderstorms that are headed right at us. just before they get to us, they'll kind of like break apart, go around, and then meet back up on the other side of the swamp. And it has to do with the swamp and the land, the way the terrain goes, I guess. We get storms and stuff that come in off the Gulf, which can really rock and roll you. I mean, technically, we're about 30 miles from the coastline if you could go in a straight line.
Yeah.
But you can't go in a straight line because you've got,
Yeah.
canals and little
Yeah.
swamps and rivers and streams and, and all this kind of stuff that's between us.
Alligators.
And so you're going around and this, that, and the other. And so it could take a while. But it's a beautiful area. I mean, I know on campus, we have some of our live oak trees are over 300 years old. They're part of
Wow.
the Historical Arbor Society. They have like special supports that they've built to keep the branches from breaking off the trees because they come down so low and they're so heavy.
Wow.
There's a place in one of the little towns just south of us that huge live oak in this guy's front yard, and one of the branches had come like out of the tree down, hit the ground, grew into the ground, grew back out of the ground, and came back up, and his people are always driving by to take pictures of his tree. And I said, well, at least he didn't put a fence up to hide it from everybody. Most of the people here are very, very friendly. I mean, yeah, you have your prejudice, you have your racism that goes on, but that's no matter where you go. And you have areas where it's like, yeah, you don't belong here. Go back over to your area. And it's just it can be kind of segmented. But when it comes to the festivals and the parties and the music and getting together and doing stuff, they don't care.
Yeah.
Honestly,
so tell me, what time does the parade start in your town?
Depends on what day.
On Mardi Gras.
Oh, on Mardi Gras Day, I think the earliest parade is like at 10 or 11 in the morning. And there'll be, because there was like parades yesterday, parades today, parades tomorrow. I keep losing Helen. She and her possessed equipment.
Hey, listen, this gives me a chance to say hello to Dr. Ann. I don't think that
Hey, Rita.
Hey.
So thank you for coming. It's nice, lovely to meet you.
We're gonna have to do.
I've seen you. I've been a lurker on all of your channels, and yours, Jean. I mean, I've been around watching it, so it's really nice to see everybody and meet you all in person. And also, hello to the fabulous community.
A curse binding thing on Helen's equipment.
Yeah.
We
what's
should.
the name of the medicine man? We need to get a hold of him
weather.
and get him
It's
over to Helen's
raining
computer.
And no, it's the weather. It's raining, and we had snow pretty low. It's when you said it was 70 degrees, I felt like I was in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
You can't hear me again.
Feel like we're in an alternate. It's like you said, we got snow. Marina sent me pictures of out in her front yard where there's snow over the car roof of the cars parked on the streets. And it's like, it's like I just can't imagine being in that kind of snow. I've never been in it. We get snow down here maybe once, twice every 10 years. It usually melts before it hits the ground. And if it does get to the ground, then it just turns into an ice sheet, and it's
that's fun.
People just bust their ass on
That
it,
hurts.
We call that black ice up here, and it's when you can't. It looks like it's fine until you step on it, and then your feet go up, your butt goes down. Your chiropractor
there were 2 weeks here
14
recently
visits.
where I didn't leave the house at all.
Oh wow, yeah.
I just think it's amazing. I know it's I'm stating the obvious, but it's amazing, Sherry, that you're in Louisiana. I'm in DC. Marina's in Canada, and you're in New Zealand, and Helen, you're in Southern California. It's just so amazing that we can all sit here at the same time and converse and chat and be together and share energy. It's just
Yes.
Yeah.
Love it.
And not to mention all the people in the chat and where they're from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Australia's in there,
And
and England.
I will apologize
UK.
again to everybody in chat. I've not been paying attention.
Oh, they're chatting it up.
I've
They're
been
chatting it
waving.
up.
Yeah.
I'm
waving when I
seeing
can.
it scrolling up on me, so it's like, okay, they're talking good. But
Yeah, no,
I'm just
they're having a party too.
been oblivious to chat, and it's not intentional.
Yeah,
I'll go back
there's
after the show and I'll reread all the chat. I'll do that whenever
a lot of them are lurking and loving it. They're really enjoying the conversation. And I think it's
good,
fascinating, you know, all of the different culture, all of the different traditions, and the way that a way of life in different areas of the world. I think it's really important for us to share that. I think it was a brilliant idea for you, Sherry, to offer to Dr. Ann, who, you know, all I know is
when she said I'd never been to Mardi Gras. It was
Yeah,
like,
we were just
my
chatting
radar
one day.
went off, and my first words were, "Oh well, we gotta have a party. Can't have that," you know. So that's
Very
just the way
grateful.
it
So, what's the
Sherry,
time
can you hear
difference?
me?
What time is it where you are in New Zealand right now?
It's
What
just
day is
past
it?
noon. It's Sunday, the
Tomorrow.
11th. So I'm in your future.
Perfect.
It's always a joke, but yeah. The international date timeline
And
starts in
telling us what's
Fiji, then
coming.
New Zealand, and then I can tell you it's fair to Midland. And it's summer here, so we're the opposite season to the Northern Hemispherians. So it's towards the end of summer, a little bit cooler mornings, but we're only at 50% humidity today, so it's about 70 degrees or 21 Celsius. But I'll tell you what, when storms come through and you get the 100% humidity and it's 70 degrees, that is not fun.
Oh, try it.
It is really, it's not fun. So, but because it's not common to have air conditioning automatically in every building that you have. So that you can go into buildings just like in Europe that don't have air conditioning other than the heating. So, you know, you're just stuck with the weather as you get it. So, and the water in this ocean's super cold, but you get used to it, you know, when you jump
AC
in.
is a requirement down here.
Yeah, it would have to be
to survive.
I can imagine.
Yeah. I can't imagine what people live like before there was air conditioning. You know, of course, you had homes that had big high ceilings and big huge windows to vent. You know, as the heat rises. So,
Sherry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't know what's going on here, but it's bizarre. People are not talking and frozen, but their voices are coming from somebody else. And
oh my goodness,
it's really bizarre.
Well,
so if I just
I'm hearing music.
Yeah, I'm hearing music. Where's the music coming from?
That might be my husband playing guitar.
That's all right. Don't stop him. It's okay.
If I
He's quite
disappear
talented.
again, I'm going to say goodbye now.
Yep.
Thank you, Helen.
I think I'm saying goodbye now too. It's been so much fun.
Jean.
Thank you
so much,
everybody, thank you
so much.
Sherry. Sherry will be on my channel tomorrow. Come on back and see us. We're going to be doing some
Okay.
readings.
I'll be there. I'll be working about listening.
See you,
You're welcome. Thank y'all for coming to spend Mardi Gras with me.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, guys.
Going into another universe here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, you know what? I've got a little bit of time.
I've got a few more minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I usually Saturday. Yeah, Saturday is my day to do private readings.
Oh, cool! Thank you for coming, Marina. Oh my gosh.
Saturday. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I had some. Well, I wouldn't miss it. I was a little concerned that you guys might be done already because I was running a little late. But
and several people had gotten back to me were like they already had things planned.
Other commitments.
If I can come in, I will. And I'm like, just if you come, you come. If you don't, you know. And but I just wanted everybody to understand a little bit of what, the rest of the state is not New Orleans.
Yeah.
New Orleans is kind of unique in and of itself,
Hmm.
and very multicultural because of the fact that it's a huge port. So you have people from all over. You have the Creole people, you have Cajun people, you have African Americans, you have European Americans, you have Caribbean Americans. It's this big, huge pot full of everybody mixed in there. And New Orleans can get a little crazy. That's just
Yeah.
so big and so old.
Yeah.
In the smaller cities and towns, Lafayette's not really small, but compared to New Orleans, it is.
Yeah.
You pretty much, it's like I'm in a university city, so we have a pretty good mix of people from around the world here. We have, like I said, we celebrate Hindu holidays
It's
here.
awesome.
They celebrate Chinese holidays here. We celebrate American holidays, European holidays, paganism, Wiccan, you name it.
Nice.
Somebody's having a party somewhere for something.
I love it. I think it's great.
It's just, and that's always been ingrained in my brain. Is like anytime something happens or something, I'm like, oh, let's have a party. Just
Yeah.
because that's the way it always was.
Yeah.
There was a reason to have a party. We had a party, and so that's, to me, it's that is a comfort zone for me, to do a party.
I think it's wonderful, and I reckon we should have an in-person party one day. I seriously, at some point, with some planning in the future, it'd be really cool to get us all somewhere. I'm happy to fly wherever if I get enough notice.
That's it.
I would love to meet everybody in person, and then we can have our own in-person real cool.
I've
party,
met a few people in person.
Yeah,
and it's so awesome.
I would love
And
that.
I'm gonna probably be flying out to California next month and be there for a couple of days before I drive back. And
that's
there's a handful of people that live there in the LA area that I'm already like, oh, gotta go see this person, gotta go see that person. When we start heading back, past by Val and Juno, make arrangements to see them. And then there's Lady G, if she's at home in New Mexico, is like all these people to hit on the way back.
That'll be awesome. You're gonna have so much fun, Sherry.
It's gonna take forever to get home, but that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's about the journey, not the destination, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
I just want to thank everybody in chat for coming and
yes, thank you, everybody.
and not being offended because I've ignored you.
No, silly. They're having a great time. And everybody's been great. And I'm just grateful to finally meet you, Marina, in person online, in our in the digital space, and see everybody's names who I see all the time and online when I'm on it. And
I'm
that's
so
the other thing I love to get people put together.
I have noticed that about you, Sherry. You're amazing that way.
But they haven't met each other. And I love to be able to put people together so they can all meet,
That's brilliant. Yeah.
It's just, I get a really big charge out of that. It's just, it makes me feel good to know I can gather a room full of people that I know and throw them all together, and half of them don't know the other half. It's like, that's okay. Now you do.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
You see some great collaborations that come out of it. People that hook up. Oh yeah, we met over on Sherry's party for whatever.
Yeah. That's cool.
From there, and that's awesome to me. So to me, it's worth all the work it takes to put it all together because everybody's happy.
It's brilliant.
Everybody, people get to meet other people that they probably. I mean, the fact that I can have a party with someone from Northwest California, Canada, New Zealand, from
Yeah.
DC down
Yeah.
here in Louisiana, and we're all together at the same time,
Hey, Amber.
actually
Yeah.
talking to each other, you know.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a non-geolocation locality, they call it, in the literature, right? So you have this non-space-based relationship live. It makes the world so much closer and smaller,
And
and it creates a really great community. It's just wonderful.
it helps you feel
Yeah.
not so alone in
Yes.
what it is that
Thank
you
God.
believe in
Yes.
and what it is that you want to practice and teach
Mhm.
others.
Mhm.
Yes.
Because now you know people from around the world. Okay, I'm not a weirdo. I'm not the only one that sees or hears or gets these messages.
Yeah. It's
I
the
know
most
10 other people that do too. So
Yeah.
It's
it
been
makes
the
a
most self-affirming thing I've ever done for me. I
Absolutely.
realize I don't have to have people physically around me to connect,
Exactly.
other than obviously my family and stuff. But it's been a real gift. And I appreciate the gifts that you bring to Sherry, doing that and bringing us all together as a community and connecting us. I just love that. I think it's a gift that you really bring to everyone. So I'm just very grateful. And
I just get
hey,
so
everybody in
much
the
joy
chat.
out of it.
Cool.
Perfect.
Thanks, Mickey, for subscribing to my channel. Anybody, if you guys want to subscribe, just a little
Yes.
plug. Go to my channel and subscribe.
Go and
I might get to 20
all
people.
of her information is in the description box below.
Yes,
Okay,
that'd
thank
be
you.
awesome. Thank you. I have to leave in a minute, ladies. I'm so sorry.
My
but
dog is
No,
over
no,
like
I'm-
telling me I gotta
Yeah,
go to the
I've got-
bathroom.
I'm 2 minutes over
family
my time
commitments.
limit, but it's,
Okay, cool.
We're gonna.
Marina,
we're
it's
gonna-
so lovely to see you. And,
we're gonna say goodbye now.
and thank you,
Because
Sherry.
the dog
and-
has to go to the bathroom. And he's
Yeah,
gonna
he
be
needs to
on my
go. So
lap
let's
if
say
I don't
goodbye. Okay, cool.
get
All right.
moving.
Love
perfect.
you
Oh,
all.
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so
Absolutely.
much,
Mardi Gras.
everybody.
Take care, everyone.
Stay
Be
warm,
good and have
everybody.
fun.
Okay.
Bye.